Hi everybody, it's Kimberly. Welcome back to the Twin Flame family. And I have a very important message for you for Twin Flames. And it's going to be delivered in a different way than many of my past videos. As you can see, I'm standing, not sitting. I typically sit, and I really feel compelled to be standing while I deliver the message. In recent days and through a series of events in my own twin flame journey and experience, I've had certain downloads and messages come to me that I feel are so important to share with the collective. Some of these things may contradict the way I've delivered the information in the past, and just please allow for that, because this is the process of learning and growing. And even as teachers and healers, I've been learning the process myself as I've been teaching the messages. And for those of you that are guided to work with me, you can do so in a soul coaching capacity, and I can help you actually work on the ascension process, which means the self-mastery piece of this. And that is actually the biggest piece of this. And that's what part of the message is for today. And one of the reasons why in July I'm holding a self-mastery series on YouTube, and you'll see what that is as we go through the sort of topics and subject matter, and I know they'll be of interest to you. So please, those of you who watch my weekly readings, please don't shy away from watching the self-mastery series just because it's like not a reading. There's going to be a lot of good stuff in there for you. I find that I get the most views or following when it's like a reading, and I know that the readings are great because it helps you validate where you're at, and it helps like clarify certain things. But remember that the readings are just like a framework to help guide you. And yes, there's validation in it. Yes, there's some learning in it. Yes, there's some like aha moments for you. There's also a comfort in knowing like you're kind of the same, or the same things are going on with others in the collective. But don't forget, there's also the facilitation of your work, of this healing, of all of that. And I don't dig into that in the reading. So this is a way for me to help give you the tools for your healing, for the progression in this ascension process. And anyhow, so getting back to the message, and also if you want to work with me in private, you can do so on the twinflamefamily.com. Click on schedule a session. And also on August 8th, we have the group workshop for the Divine Feminine. It's the Transforming Your Wounded Warrior into a Divine Feminine Goddess. And I have new insights for that as well. So you can sign up as early as right now. The workshop will close out at a set amount of people. I think I have 11 spots total. There's already been one signed up. So we've got about 10 spots in the class. That's August 8th. So check that out on the website, thetwinflamefamily.com. And stay tuned in July for the Self-Mastery series. So back to this message for today. Big message for Twin Flames. It's still formulating for me, so I'm going to try to be as succinct as I can with it. And I know that as I'm delivering it, Spirit will provide me with the words and the way to articulate it to you in the best light, in the clearest way. So I'm going to just trust in that. So this journey, so much of what we do is we question the outcome. And we all do it. I've done it. All my clients do it. We all do it at some point, different ways along the journey. We want to know what this all means, and why have we signed up for this? Whew. Sorry, I may cry. Probably gonna cry while I deliver it, so just let me do it. Just hold the space for me. because it's powerful messages that are coming through. And the power of it is a good testament to why I am crying. So going back to why we're on this journey together as soul family, navigating it. Why am I here helping you? Why are you, in essence, helping me, right? By assisting me on my mission. And why have I arrived at this mission? And why are you where you are at? Why are you in the struggle that you're in, or in the torment that you're in, or finding this new empowerment that you found? Because at the forefront of the connection with your twin flame is the notion of this amazing love that you have for or with another being, another soul who feels a lot like home to you, and a connection that, despite the feeling of home and wholeness, we also feel, like I said, very tormented by at times. And I want to tell you that your twin flame and the sacred mirror is there because it's a reflection of all your experiences, of every wound you've ever accrued or taken with you along the way, from the core wounds to all the patterns and all the hurts. In fact, most of us, if we really look at our twin flames, will see that they carry the traits of, most of us will see that they've carried the traits of everyone we've ever been with in a romantic relationship or in any sort of a love relationship. And I don't mean the good traits. I don't mean the ones where we got treated the right way. I mean the aspects of which we were triggered, or there was a hurt or a wound. It's all of those things will be carried forth and be mirrored back to you via your twin flame. And so when we feel as though our twin flame is doing unto us, we are not being done wrong. We have simply pulled in the energy with our twin to heal at a greater level. And this healing is sparking a huge shift for us, as we know. And it's through the mirroring that we can choose to heal or we can choose to run. And we know what the running feels like because our twin flame runs from us, and we often run from ourselves. And that is the dance of ego running. And it's like the person on the receiving end of the running. So whether it's not the chaser, but it's the person on the receiving end of that or on the other end of that feels like they're hitting a brick wall. Feels like they can't get through. Feels like they're not being heard, seen, understood, that their message of truth cannot get through because there is another ego blocking it, okay? And the truth is that the reason why that's happening is so that you can distinguish what the truth is. And so often I hear from twin flames, I feel delusional, or am I crazy, or can you validate this for me, like in the readings? And quite often I'll say, what do you think? Or what do you feel? Or what is your voice telling you? Before I'll answer my clients in the readings. Because I know that we seek the validation from others. We seek the advice and help from others. And we seek so many. We're saying, I hear so often from twin flames, nobody gets it. I feel alone in this journey. Which, okay, yeah, that's understandable. We are reaching a higher vibration. There are lower vibrational energies around us. There is old friendships, people that are in a more restricted way of thinking that aren't going to understand it. But there's also this need to recognize that in the everyone else not understanding it, you're being forced to listen to yourself. So then when you go in and listen to yourself, and then your ego comes up with all the bullshit that it wants you to believe to protect itself, to hold you in the same patterns that you've been in for many years, that align with the way society thinks, the ways others have judged you, the ways that you judge yourself, ancestral patterning. They are the things that are fear-based. They are doubtful. They make you second guess your inner voice. So let me reiterate this. We feel as though we can't turn to the people that are currently in our lives, like maybe our family or the friends we've had for many years, because they just don't get it. And then we're forced to go inward and say, okay, well then I'm in this on my own. Like, how do I know? How do I know what I need to do? How do I know what this is? How do I know how to navigate this? And then we have this truth that's in there, and it gets all covered up by these other things that come in to doubt it, that come in to second guess it, that come in to squash our hope and our faith. And these are limitations. They're stemming from our ego, which is, like I said, it's the wounded energy that's not been healed that creates protection mechanisms. It's old beliefs, limiting beliefs. It's the attachment to judgment, or what society says we should do, or what our parents told us we should do, or what our friends in more of the 3D realm that are in a more limited space are telling us we should feel. So then I find often then there's this confusion, and they call it the veil of confusion, and we get stuck there. And we feel really crappy in the veil of confusion. Because on one hand, we've got people who don't get it. We've got an inner truth. And then we've got this ego bullshit that's going, nope. And this is saying, nope, but I know this. But nope, it's not. But it can't be. But you can't feel that way. But you can't believe this, but you can't trust this, but you can't do this, but you can't know what this is. It blinds us. And so at that point, we seek healers. We seek readings. We seek healers. And we seek outside advice. Because we want to hear reflected back to us what we know. So that we are actually seeking to get rid of the ego bullshit. When you go to be healed, when you go to a psychic, when you go to a healer, there is a part of your soul. It is your soul. It's not your ego self or your conscious self. It's your soul that's saying, I desire for more truth, or to believe in my own truth, because I cannot do it on my own. And so many of you say, well, I get confused. I don't know which voice is which. I don't know if I am truly delusional, or if or if I'm crazy, or if I should just move on. You know, I hear that a lot. Should I just move on? The truth is that your soul knows, and that there are no limitations. There are no limitations. Recently, I've reached out to my own healers, and when we do that, we are open to receiving lots of different messages, and some of those messages will validate our inner knowing. And some of them you'll come back to the table and you'll go, I feel more confused. Because now this person said this and this person said this and I feel this and my ego's telling me this. And this is all just confusing. So what do you do when you get to that place? You're still under the veil of confusion. Allow that advice. Allow all of those outside voices to create a contrast within you, because it will. And then pay attention to where the tug is. Where the tug is, and that doesn't resonate for me. And then let those voices fall away. All of it. Every reading you've had, every video you've watched, everything. Just let it fall away. And go back to the truth, which is inside of you. And find your truth and what you know to be true. You'll find it in a quiet space. It will be defined through the contrast of knowing what doesn't resonate for you. It will be found through really recognizing what is our ego voice versus what is our inner voice and our inner truth. With twin flames, I will say that there are no limitations. And up until this point, I haven't been able to say that with full commitment. There are no limitations to what is possible. And to believe otherwise is ego. Or it's our ego allowing those other voices to, whether it's societal voices, old beliefs, judgments of other people, our own core wounds protecting us, that haven't been healed, the way that we protect ourselves from getting hurt again. It's the suppression of our inner truth. And I know the truth for me that feels the best. And I do believe that if we can all succumb to it, it is that there are no limitations here. Not on your own healing or that of your twin flame. We look at the 3D circumstances and we say, how could this change? And then we say, there's no way it possibly could. This looks so bleak. This looks so horrible. This has spiraled so low. This has gone so off track. But I direct you back to the piece of it that is so on track. Because everything in the heartache, in the pain, in the reflection, in the triggers, in the reactivity has been for your healing. For both of your healing. Both of you. And it doesn't matter where your twin flame is at in his or her healing process. What matters is that you own the responsibility to your own healing. because it is through that, through facilitating your own healing and recognizing why you're being triggered and recognizing why you've lost your power or why these evils are being evoked in you, these demons. That's how we arrive at a place where we can face ourselves and heal at the deepest level and really start to live our authentic selves. I mean, our authentic truth. And I mean act it too, because so often we think we're acting in our truth. We feel something in our heart, but we're not showing it. We're not expressing it. We're not living it. And we're doing that because we have blocks. We've got resistance. We've got self-imposed limitation. We've got old beliefs blocking it. We've got old stuff blocking it. Hurts, protective mechanisms. Your twin flame has come in to vibrate all your wounds for you and mirror them back to you so that you can heal these things at a greater level. And it will spark the greatest transformation of your life. And it already has. And let me remind you that. It already has for you. So when we stay fixated on union and what's going to happen in the 3D, and also doubting what could happen in the 3D, and we stay away from our own healing, when we refuse to get on the path of the healing or think that we've done enough and don't have more to do, remember that things will keep being mirrored back to us until we get on that path, until we dig deeper, until we go deeper and heal that. And from that will come a new desire, a desire for healthier patterns. And that desire will create the platform for the healthier patterns to come in and meet with you. In the past, I've delivered it in such a way as when you can clear this energy and, line up with your highest vibration, that is which in line for you will line up for you, right? Like vibrationally, if you're clear and radiating your light and that which is in line for your highest good will line up for you. And there's truth in that. But I also now look at that and think there's something off in the way that I've delivered that in the past. Because when we say things are, well, should I just let this go and whatever's meant to be will be? No, you should understand that it's different than that. That it's not just what's for your highest good that's going to line up for you. That your soul is lining up always with what's in line for your highest good. It's not like the highest good is some outside entity that's going to come in and find you. And I think sometimes we look at it that way, like, well, if that's what God has in store for us, or if that's what the universe has in store for us, well, then so be it. But the truth is that your soul is always choosing. So when we look at those free will choices, and especially in the twin flame journey, you say, well, should I let go or should I not? Should I, pick up the phone or should I not? Or should I do it? And we're calculating all of our stuff. Remember, you actually know, you know at a soul level. And there's nothing that you can do to throw off your journey. You're going to arrive where you need to arrive at because your soul is leading you. It's guiding you. And it's guiding you to the highest good, to the highest purpose. And as we're awakening, we'll be able, and healing, we get there quicker in the shortest route possible, right? In the most effective way possible, right? Rather than having to take the detours around to get there. But I also want to say that in the notion that It's not some outside entity that is just going to line up for us if we just surrender. That it's more the notion of, as we surrender, our soul will lead us. Okay? So it's all based within. It's not based out here. It's not like I've said, and I have to say that I'm shifting my own perception because I've said so much. The universe is orchestrating this for you. The universe is orchestrating this for you. But I feel as though I've misspoken as I've said that in the past. Because it is your soul that is being called to these situations, to the separations, to the decisions that come from the separations, to everything. And when we can find this peace within us and know that we're choosing, we are choosing. It's not our conscious mind that's choosing. It's our soul, our divine self that's making the choices. And when our ego self steps in, or our, conscious mind steps in and says, no, do this. Well, you'll be rerouted back to your higher purpose. You will be. It's just sometimes we have to learn lessons when we override our soul's voice, okay? Do you understand that? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for everybody. When we override that true calling or that truth or our soul's voice because we don't want to hear it, or we're not ready to hear it, and the ego or like just the conscious mind guides us, we will still find our way back. We'll still find our way to the highest place, but we may have to learn some lessons in between. And it's there so that we can get to that truth. Keep getting to that truth. It's like, oh, you didn't hear it. You didn't hear it. Or you're not just allowing yourself to be led. Or we're not listening to that voice. There is a voice deep within that we're not listening to. And we can look at this on a big spectrum, from looking at it in the sense of, okay, so you're in separation. Let's look at it that way, because you love to dwell on the doubt of things, and I know everyone loves to be like, well, if it's not happening now, well, then I guess I'm just supposed to, turn my back and whatever. And I say to you, no, actually your soul was called to the separation. It's supposed to be happening. Your soul placed itself here for the healing that you're receiving, for this stubbornness, this like ego stubbornness that you're dissolving, so that you can learn to listen to your truth. Because if that separation hadn't been placed in the way, or the mistreatment, or the abuse, or whatever it is that you're standing in front of that doesn't feel good, it feels like an injustice, or feels like heartache, whatever that is, you've been led to it. It's not just been brought to you, you've attracted it, so that you can open up to the truth. And the truth is that even in your twin flame separation, that anything is possible. Anything. But the union, or the notion of union, is only there for us when we get to the place of understanding that there are no limitations. So if you find yourself doubting, not believing, not having faith, needing to know how, when, Remember that it's possible only when we can lift the veil of illusion, lift the veil of confusion, and go into our inner truth. And that is the key to union. And I think that we hold ourselves away from union because in order to arrive at our truth, we have to heal at a deeper level. And the longer we stay away from digging deeper and healing, trusting in the separation, and doing the more work, the harder it will be, the more lessons we will have, the longer it will take in this time, space, physical reality. It may not happen until you trust, until you trust that there are no limitations, that nothing is impossible. Not your transformation and not your twin flames. It's not impossible. This isn't about praying that someone's going to change for you or wanting them to do it on your own time. This is about you healing. That's it. To heal to a point where you know your truth, where you can hear the intuitive message, where you are living your truth. And in that truth is where the limitations disappear. And when the limitations disappear, that means, yeah, you are in love. You are in full love. You're in love with everything. Yourself, your knowing, your confidence, your trust, your healing. You're in love with those around you because you're no longer doubting. You're no longer under the veil of confusion, under the veil of illusion. You're no longer living within limits. And we can tell ourselves affirmations, which I love to hear you guys say. I tell myself these affirmations every day. And it's like you can say affirmations till the cows come home. But if you are not fully on your healing path or digging into what's being reflected for you, you will not fully find your truth. And you will not be able to surrender fully. And you will not be able to hold the faith. And therefore, the limitations will still keep coming in. And they'll still keep coming in. And the longer we keep them in motion, we keep that momentum going, the further union is for us. So some of you will ask, and I know it's already brewing for some of you that are watching this video, well, what about my twin flame's negative thinking, right? What about his self-imposed limitations or her self-imposed limitations, her non-belief in the situation, his, wanting to run away and not wanting anything to do with me at the moment? Or what about that? How's that gonna transform? Well, you're one soul. And when you reach your higher truth, you won't even have those questions. Because it is through your knowing and your own truth and your more healed self and your oneness with all and your love for everything and everybody and your belief that anything is possible, that it will be possible with your twin flame, that will transcend. So a lot of times in session, in my sessions, we talk about this and you ask like, well, if I do my work, will he do his? And I always say, well, it's on different timelines. Okay. It's like you may be doing your work for 2 or 3 years, and go, okay, you know what? I feel I've gotten to this like better place. And then he's like Seems like he's going to take 2 or 3 more years. So I say to you, that's not for you to worry about, right? But the truth is, it's not going to take him 2 or 3 more years if you've arrived in your truth, if you've arrived there, if you've arrived in the faith, in the trust of the universe, in the no limitations, in this divine knowing, in the connection to your divinity, in the being more healed, to hear that truth, to believe that. And some of you have faith that will give way to this naturally as you do more work. And some of you, it's going to be a struggle to really listen to the inner knowing, the inner voice that doesn't want to reason away, how could this be? Or how could this happen? How is this possible? This surrender to truth, to faith, to trust, to there being no limitations, to full expansion, like I said, has been created through the contrast of all the advice you've received, of all of the external stuff. It's making your inner voice louder. So they're saying, listen to your inner voice. There's nothing that you need to do or hold on to make everything possible. There's nothing you need to do or worry about to make it possible with your twin flame. The only thing you need to focus on is your self-healing, is finding your truth, is arriving to that place where there are no limitations anymore. And I'm talking about the energetic limitations. We have the belief systems, the thoughts, the energy behind it that stem from our wounds, that stem from these old patterns, these old beliefs. And I'll say it again, it's ancestral patterning, it's societal beliefs, it's judgments. It's our own wounds that, oh wow, those judgments, those beliefs, boy, our old wounds that are unhealed, they go right together. It's like, yes, this outside stuff validates, everything you're receiving or you've received throughout your life validates that hurt further, right? So when you're feeling your truth, for many twin flames as we do, and then all that other bullshit comes in, when our wound meets that, or the past hurt meets that, it's easy to believe it. Of course it is, right? It's so easy to believe it. But the challenge for you is to recognize, where the bullshit is. And I love that word because it's a lot of ego bullshit. And I think I said it like 17 times in my last video. And the truth is in you. And you know the truth. Union is not something that is going to line up for you. It's not some outside thing in the universe that's like meant to be will be. And even I have struggled with this notion in the past. How to convey it, what I really believe in it. And the truth is that union is there for you. Union is achievable. And it's achievable via our own self-healing. And like I said, by arriving at a place that's all expansive, where there are no limitations. No limitations from things that we've believed of the past, things that we've been told, Doesn't it feel better to believe, like when someone comes along and says something really hopeful to you and you're like, or if you have a reading with me, sometimes I'll say something like, no, that's not really the way it is. It's just this and anything is possible. And then you're like, oh, I know. Oh my God, that makes me feel so much better. But then someone can come along and say something like, are you crazy? That's never going to happen. And you're like, oh my God, I know that's never going to happen. I'm so stupid. This is so crazy. Can you see the difference between that energetically? Now ask yourself what felt more authentic to you. The validation of your truth, your hope, where there are no limitations, where anything is possible, or was it the fear-based stuff that resonated more for you? Because with most of us, we want to listen to that fear-based energy. And even some of our healers give that back to us. I was recently in that experience where it wasn't the message that was fear-based, it was the way it was delivered. And it was good. It was good to have that contrast because it forced me to say, no, that's not my truth. My truth is in here. Only I know my truth. No healer or psychic can give that to me. They can help guide me to it, but I know my truth. And the more I heal, the more I'll discover that. And that's lining up with my authentic self, which is so empowering. That's discovering your true power. And in that is where our soul can direct us to, like I said, in the shortest way, the most effective way without having to take the detour, right? And I think even sometimes in our twin flame dynamics, we take the detour. We're making it harder for ourselves. We're putting resistance in the way. We're putting off the work. We're putting off the healing. We're not taking the cues. We're not looking in the sacred mirror. We're not going deep enough. We're listening to the people and the friends around us who are just spewing out ego stuff, ego bullshit. And then it's reaffirming our own ego stuff, our own wounds, our own societal patterning and ancestral patterning. It's just reaffirming that, the doubt. And that, my friends, will get us nowhere. So really think about who you've been listening to and what the messages have been. And some of you pull cards for yourself, or some of you meditate and you get these messages and you know it. And then you go to your healers or you go to your friends and you got conflicting stuff from people and souls who are not as evolved as you, who are not receiving these messages, receiving their downloads, and are not tapped into their inner truth. So of course they're going to make you second guess your inner truth, because you're not going to find your inner truth with anyone else. And that's not discounting what I do in any way, because I feel like I work with my clients to help them discover their own truth. I just guide you back to you. And some of you get frustrated in that. I've had a few readings where my clients are like, no, tell me what's going to happen. And I'm like, no, you already know, or that's not important, you know? And that's my job, is to guide you back to that. But I just want to leave you, I'm going to wrap this up. I just want to leave you with the notion of that when we're standing in our truth, when we're in alignment with our authentic selves, the veils will be lifted, okay? These limitations, these barriers, whatever they are that's blocking us from arriving in union with our twin flame, they'll be removed. And you will stand in a place of all-knowing faith. You will be serving your mission. you will feel more empowered. You will have better boundaries. You will have healed to a place of only welcoming the aligned energy for you. Which means that union is possible. And that it's possible for your twin flame to show up more healed as well. And it's also possible for other soul partners to come in for you. But your soul already knows what it wants. And your soul is already guiding you. And the less we resist this, do this thing, push, pull, tug, no, I don't want to, no, I want it this way. The less we do that, the more, like I said, the shortest route we will be on. The most effective, concise path to meet up with all that is possible for us. And it has nothing to do with how we're translating what's happening on the 3D. Because anything is possible. Anything. Your soul already knows. In fact, some of us, our souls just stay stuck on our twin flame so that we can keep getting abused, so we can keep getting victimized, so we can keep getting mistreated, or till we heal this. We heal it, and we heal it, and we heal it, and we heal it. And when you're not receiving the messages, or you're not doing the healing at a deeper level, things can't shift. The transformation can't be. And so when you ask, like, what about my unawakened twin, or the sleeper twin, or my partner who's not doing his work, or not stepping into his truth, it matters not. It matters not. It matters only that you know the truth. You step into yours and you do the healing and you get in line with your authentic self. And it is in that place that you'll discover there are no limitations. There is no worry about your twin flame not awakening. Because the way this works is that he or she will awaken and step into his or her truth. But our focus cannot be on that in any way. Because if it is, we'll be looking at timelines, we'll be trying to figure out when things are happening, we'll be attached to an outcome. And we have to just let that all go. And say the only thing that I need to do, and that the responsibility of twin flames is me taking responsibility for myself. And until I arrive at a place where I feel surrendered and in faith that anything is possible, and in love with all, I won't know what that is until I get there. I won't know. I'm going to feel all these other things until I get there. So I'm going to be patient with myself. I'm going to be good to myself. And I'm just going to keep on healing. I'm going to keep doing my stuff. I'm going to keep taking the cues from what's happening in this dynamic. I'm going to keep looking in that sacred mirror and healing at a deeper level. And all the while, I am going to trust in my inner knowing, my inner voice, and begin allowing those limitations to be removed, to be dissolved, for the old beliefs to melt away, for the ego to just start to dissolve and give way to the truth. Because it's in that truth that I recognize that anything is possible. And that I won't be stand here doubting how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen. And I know also that my soul is guiding me to my truth, to everything that's in line for me. It's not some outside entity that's going to line up for me. It's me lining up. It's my soul calling out for these lessons, calling out for this experience, calling out for the next soulmate, calling out for the next, fight with my twin flame. Or we're creating this You are creating it. Everything. The separation, you're creating the havoc or the distance. You're creating it for your own healing, for your own learning. And until we arrive at that place of being in our truth and listening to what's inside, we will continue to repeat patterns, whether it's with our twin flame or other soulmates or other people in our lives and soul family and soul relationships. We will keep repeating them and they'll keep coming in. We'll keep getting signs and synchronicities to reaffirm the soul level stuff, yet we'll keep playing out our wounds and our patterns until we heal at a deeper level. So for those of you who do want to work on healing at the deepest level, recognizing where your triggers are, learning to repattern through the reactivity and the old ways of being, I can help you do that. And know that it's not me, even as your healer or facilitator, it's not me who's going to put the truth in you. It's just that through the dissolution, the dissolving of this stuff, right? This ego stuff and this healing of the old wounds and the core wounds, it is the truth that will just come forth for you. And in that truth, anything is possible. There are no limitations. There is no wrong that you've done. There is no wrong path that you've taken. There is so much peace that comes in that. There is so much joy. There is so much happiness. There's so much for you when you can arrive at the place of trust and knowing and love and all things possible, rather than the feeling of doom and gloom and doubt and worry. All these things are limiting us. They're squashing us. They're dimming our light. So remember, enlightenment is expansion. It's moving towards the light. And that's why we were all on this journey together. And it's so important to remember that message. And I will leave you with that. And just remember, and if you're going to have one affirmation that you do say to yourself every day that you want to get your energy behind and that you eventually will, it should be, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Okay? All right, love to you all. Mwah. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.